right, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday night edition of the Fresh Takes podcast of Russo and Felice. I am Paul Russo. Not alone this week. But it was an interesting venture last week when we did that. Across from me, as always, man, myth, legend, back in the studio after 1 week?
Yeah.
1 week absence last time, so... Nick Felice's back up. Well, we have a ruined thing there because I wasn't paying attention. There we go. That's better. Nick, how are you doing today?
So not as always. I'm not always here. But this is the first Thursday episode of the Fresh Takes podcast. We have now done Monday, Tuesday, of course, Wednesday, and Thursday. Feels good to be back. Talking basketball, I hear today.
Earlier, too. Yeah.
I hear we're talking basketball. Pros, college, high school, pee-wee.
Yeah, it's got like a basketball-oriented centric episode. Yeah, I mean, it's got like the main stuff going on in sports, obviously, right now. I'm surprised we've had a week.
Madness.
We've had pretty much a week without Astros talk, which is kind of nice. Yeah, and then from there, I mean, nothing major is really going on elsewhere. I mean, you know, obviously NHL, but nothing in my mind really pushed the needle too hard.
I don't know about
there.
you, but I'm not a big NFL draft guy.
No, we can't talk that yet.
No, I mean, but it's getting to that time of the year.
I mean, I don't mind discussing it for a little bit.
Because I think it's mostly I'm not a huge college football guy. So I don't know a lot of these players besides the top names and the quarterbacks. But I don't know. Just not huge with it. Luckily in the spring I got my March Madness, my Masters, my baseball.
It's funny you bring up March Madness, obviously, because that's part of it, obviously, NBA, college hoops, and high school basketball. You heard me discuss some college basketball stuff last week.
We are back on the mics
Nick,
for high school.
We are. We'll discuss that, obviously, where not only ourselves,
unless a big snowstorm comes in.
Not only us, but FL1 as a whole will be at as well. We'll discuss some of the what I'll call key games. We'll probably keep it obviously more or less Finger Lakes, Wayne Finger Lakes oriented in that realm. But yeah, gonna be a fun episode. Don't know how long we'll go. We might run out of steam quick, probably, but we'll keep it within the hour, obviously. All right.
Sit back, grab a coffee, watch
coffee.
Hey, you gotta stay up. You know, it's late. It's
earlier.
It's
the old Italian way.
Than usual, but it's late.
Yeah.
For most people.
Definitely is. So, the NBA post-trade deadline. Been an interesting landscape in the NBA with that at the moment. I want to start off here what teams are hot because it's been a really weird and interesting, I guess, couple weeks post-trade deadline here. For instance, my Miami Heat, definitely the opposite of hot.
Yes, see, they've skidded a little bit.
I don't know what the full deal is there. I mean, Tyler Hero's been hurt, but we played well when he was hurt earlier in the year. I like the moves they made at the deadline, but part of me still wishes they got a bit of a big guy to complement Bam. Nothing against Myers Leonard, but he's down right now too. But he just doesn't give you a skill set comparable to Bam.
What about the dunk contest champ?
Well,
he made top plays.
Duncan, Derek Jones Jr. is,
tipping.
He's not a big guy.
No.
He's a swing man. So.
Has Iguodala played yet?
Yes.
How's he done?
Jay Crowder's done really well so far.
Well, Jay Crowder's good.
I just look, the reason why I really love that move is because now we have some room to do some cap stuff, free agent stuff. So that'll be fun. Obviously, the Bucks have stayed hot. The Raptors have stayed hot.
But I don't want to get off track here.
Celtics are getting hot in the East.
I do have one more question about your Heat.
Sure.
What do you think of people saying that they've dipped below the Celtics and the Raptors now?
Oh, they do. I'll be the first one to tell you that.
But you were one of the people who thought they were right there with the Bucks.
Yeah, for like a week.
No,
and then you saw them play the Bucks again, and they got decimated.
But now, if they are the 4 seed,
Yeah.
That means they're on the same side of the bracket as the Bucks.
Yeah.
which is,
I'll put it this way. They're coming back down to earth where I thought they would be for playoffs. I said they're probably a 5 seed at best. They're right at 4 right now. What's going to help them is Embiid's going to be out at least another week. Simmons is going to be out probably close to a month is my bet, collectively. He's already been out for pretty much a week. Then after Philly, it's, you have Indiana, and they've been, they're technically 2 games back. They've been good, but they've kind of flatlined a little bit. Then
they don't wow you.
No. The Nets are the 7 seed, 5 games under 500. So the Heat are really going to have to go on a skid to fall to that point. So really, you're looking at pretty much, I'd say, you have, at least in the East anyway, you have for sure at least 2 different groups kind of deciding what seed they're going to be right now. Because then after that, like I said, you have the Nets, the Magic are there, but after that you have to fall another 5 games to the Wizards, and that's just not going to happen. You have 20 games left pretty much.
What sucks about the East is there's really just like 6 good teams, and there's 8 playoff spots. So really these teams, like your Heat, are just playing out the regular season and getting ready to go playoffs. All that matters for them is what seed they'll be, which is something to worry about. You don't want to be on the same side of the Bucks, but to be the best, you have to beat the best. And doesn't matter what round it comes in. It's just not much excitement over the East. Where it's exciting right now is the West. I don't want to jump. I don't know if you have anything else to say about the East, but playoff race. If you want a playoff race, it's in the West.
Yeah, just to go back to the East, I'd say the main trade that happened, and it's only because just the name involved, was obviously Andre Drummond going to the Cavs. And, you got 2. Both of them are 12, and Cavs are 14. Detroit's 12th.
That's your boy, Drummond.
I do like Drummond, but you got 2 teams floundering. It's not going to make a difference. Yeah, but like you said, the East, like I said, and you said it too, the East is pretty much what you got right now.
There is a playoff race for like the 8th seed, but no one cares.
I don't know if I'd go as far to say to you as 6 good teams. I guess maybe the question with that is, what's your term? What do you mean by good in this case?
There's a difference between the Heat,
okay,
the Heat, Sixers, Pacers to the Nets and the Magic.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But out of
the Nets,
out of maybe those, I don't think any of those 3 can put up a fight against the Bucks, Raptors. I think they could take the Celtics, but the Celtics are getting hot right now at the right time. I just, especially if you got to go against Jason Tatum right now.
Yeah, he's playing good.
Yeah. You mentioned out West. Out West is where things are really for sure heating up, I'd say. Collectively, obviously the Lakers stayed hot. The Nuggets staying hot. The Clippers are suddenly finally, I'd say, find a groove within themselves. I think it took a while, really, for Kawhi and Paul George, when they've been on the court together, to kind of find a mesh, and I think they have in the games that they've played. Really, the past, you have to go a little bit beyond the All-Star break. So I guess really to collectively say it, 4 weeks / a month.
They're just getting ready for the playoffs.
Yeah. Then after that, things in my mind get weird, despite how close everything is out West, relatively speaking. I think after the Clippers, there's a considerable drop. I know the Rockets are only a game and a half back, but to me, it's I think a bigger gap. At the moment they're really running small ball. And I've seen too much of a Harden and Westbrook. They're getting along fine. It's just that cohesively when they're on the court together, just there's not a lot of energy between the two, it seems. And then after that, the Thunder aren't going to do anything when the playoff comes. They're not to say they're not doing anything right now, but they're doing enough to keep their record at where it's at, where they're hovering in between that 15 to 10 games above 500 right now. Same thing with the Jazz. The Jazz have a lot of internal stuff going on right now.
Jazz have dipped since the All-Star break.
You had a really weird situation yesterday. I don't know if you saw the updates on it, Nick, But so like I have my Bleacher Report app. I have news updates for the entire NBA, well, all leagues, but for the NBA too. And I get the first update that says Mike Conley's getting benched, and only to backpedal on it to say no, it's actually Joe Ingles. So you wonder what the deal is, because apparently it was supposed to be Mike Conley, and then there was some sort of discussion between everybody to move to Ingles. So it's an interesting case there.
Then your next update was Luis Severino getting hurt.
That was 2 days ago.
Too soon?
Yesterday was Giancarlo.
Too soon?
But yeah, I mean, you brought up about out west, Nick, so I'll toss it to you with that. Obviously, I think the Lakers are still probably going to get the number one. I think they have enough of a cushion with it being 4 games right now, but obviously everything can be fluid out west, as we've seen this year. So,
Well, with load management allows... I think if load management wasn't a thing, you'd see this Clippers team, even though at times the Clippers have played terrible defense, even with Kawhi and Paul George out there. But with load management, you see this team like the Clippers, they don't have the record like the Bucks have because their stars do sit, excluding Kawhi Leonard. That's why Leonard's so good. He's so rested for the playoffs, and he's the best player in the league already. And when he's rested like that, that just gives them even more of a plus with the team. I think the Clippers and the Lakers, I've said it before, they're going to play in the Western Conference Finals as long as they stay on the opposite side of the bracket. And, they're just getting ready for the playoffs. These other teams, like you mentioned, the Thunder, the Rockets could be good, but Russell Westbrook is probably the most overrated player in the game. Like, he's great with numbers, great with stats. He's a great player. But there's just something about him that just doesn't work. I don't know if it's because of Harden or what the team he's on. It's just something about Russell Westbrook that just says, you're not going to win. And it's proven. And like you said, I know the Jazz have dipped, but the Jazz, Nuggets, Thunder, Trailblazers, if they can get it going, get healthy, those type of teams, they're good teams, really good teams. They would be right there. They're good as the Heat, Celtics. There's the other team, Celtics, Raptors. Those type of teams, they're just as good. They're just in a really tough conference with 2 really good teams out in LA right now. I mean, they're good teams. It's just they're probably going to get beat by these LA teams in the playoffs, and the race is going to be tight. I mean, I haven't looked at the standings in a while, but if I can remember, I know New Orleans is trying to make a run. I don't know if Dallas is in yet. Where's Dallas? You have the standings?
Asking you sell receive. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. I'll put this up on the screen. There we go.
Okay, let's see
Can
here.
you tell? Can you make out that one?
Yes. Nuggets, another great year. Clippers, Lakers, Rockets. Like you said, Rockets and Thunder, Jazz, even the Mavericks.
Yeah, I don't know if I can fully buy into the Grizzlies, though.
No. The thing about if you are the Grizzlies, you're playing probably the Lakers in the first round. And who's below the Trailblazers?
The Pelicans are the next team. Full game back.
Okay. Those are all really good teams. Like, the West is loaded. That's why teams like the Kings, they're rebuilding the right way, the Kings. But they're in such a tough conference, such a tough division because if you're in the division, you're thinking, oh, the NBA divisions don't matter. But the divisions are the teams you will guarantee play 4 times a year. So the Kings, they're rebuilding right, but they're just in the wrong league to rebuild. It's sad when there's so many more better teams in the West, but you have a better idea who's going to go represent the finals in the West than you do the East. Even though I think it will be the Bucks this year, you just have more of a hunch with the LA teams than you do with the Bucks.
Yeah, I don't know about that fully, but I understand your thinking on that.
I do have one question for you, Paul.
Yeah.
They had a thing on First Take today.
Okay.
What players? I think it was like 21 under players. Who would you take? What trio would you take? Tatum, Doncic, and Morant. That's one.
So wait, I have Giannis,
No, not Giannis.
Oh, wait. Who's the first one? Who's Group A then?
Tatum,
Oh, okay. Tatum,
Doncic, and Morant is one
Morant.
Tatum
Okay.
is one trio. Or Young, Zion, DeAndre Ayton. Trae Young, Zion, DeAndre Ayton, or Tatum, Doncic, and Morant.
Tatum, Doncic, Durant.
I agree,
Durant.
but that's what they're saying on first take. Which team? Which
Oh, it's
trio
not
would
even
you
a question.
build?
I take the first trio.
Especially the way you said. You already said it. Tatum's been playing
It's
very
not
well.
even close. How I would take
That's
it.
because I forget you're a Zion hater, just
No,
like me.
it's not even like. Think about that for a second. You have scoring monsters in Group A.
I am a big Trae Young guy, but I take the other team.
They're not. The other team's not going to be able to stop them defensively. They're all terrible defenders overall.
I mean, you could argue.
Like Trey's defense is like, and I understand the year he's having, but like but his weaknesses are the weaknesses I pointed out pre-drafting him. Like literally, he has not gone left all year. He hasn't played deep. He's like a terrible defender.
And you line him up with the person they lined up. I think it's the same draft class. Tatum's better than Ayton.
Well, I'm also picturing.
Doncic is better than Young.
Yeah.
And Morant's better than Zion right now.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I think the only way. I mean, Group B has obviously the size advantage overall, but like, that's not what the game is based around anymore overall. I mean.
No, I don't think that's what they were going with. I think it's just
No.
3 stars would you want to build your team with.
Oh, it's definitely Group A. Let me pick everybody after that. Tyson Chandler, come on down.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, and then obviously, I brought up like the Sixers stuff. With that, none other, I guess, really big NBA news. I think overall speaking, post deadline at the moment, outside of like the Sixers stuff.
No, not much drama. If you want drama, you can watch The Talk, or what is it called? The Jump.
Oh, the jump, yeah.
The Jump.
But I mean, I don't know. We'll revisit this at a different time. But I think the only team that I think can beat the Bucks is the Raptors. In all honesty.
I agree.
So.
Because the other ones are the Celtics and the Sixers and your Heat.
Oh, I'm talking about as a whole.
Really?
Yeah.
Beat the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
You can't count out LeBron in ratings either, but
Let's not get started with that. I don't need, as much as I love him, I don't need Bill Simmons flying up in anywhere here.
no. No.
All right, Nick. Let's head to your groove, your lane. College basketball, March Madness. The bubble is growing.
It's a big bubble.
It is. Now, I don't know.
It's a giraffe.
I don't know how much you were able to tolerate. Okay, that's a good.
It's a SpongeBob reference.
That's a good one. I don't know if you were able to tolerate all of what I discussed, because you have a lot of teams, I think, especially in the mid-majors, making a case on that bubble.
Well,
obviously it's not going to, like I said, obviously not all the teams that I said last week are going to get in. That's just not going to happen. But, I think the main conference that I really brought up with last week, for instance, is like the A10. And, like I said we looked at the standings last week. Duquesne was sitting third in the standings in the A10 last week. Come to this week, fast forward now 9 days instead of 7 days. But Duquesne went from third to fifth in the standings last week. St. Bonaventure and Richmond moved up and made their cases even better. In fact, I think Richmond beat Duquesne through the course of the week.
Yeah, Richmond's right on the bubble, they say right now.
Richmond's right on the bubble. I think Bonaventure's like one of the. I think Lenardi and them are going too deep. I think Bonaventure's like in like the next 4 out or whatever. But, like I said, and think about this. I was high on VCU this year, and they were making a case for the bubble last week. Fast forward through the week this week, I don't think they can. They dropped a spot in the standings. St. Louis jumped them. I mean, you have, like I said, the A10, I think, is a classic conference where you look at that, and a case. I hate doing this to us, Nick, but I think they would take this year a Bonaventure or Duquesne over Syracuse or Notre Dame.
I think you're right, and I hate it.
You know what I mean?
And I love college basketball, but I hate what they're doing right now with the committee. Since 2018, they came up with this stupid quad 1, quad 2, and I hate it. Did you know NC State, I think, is now tied for the most quad 1 wins?
Yeah.
Yes, they beat Duke.
And
do you know what some of those quad 1 wins they're counting right now?
I'm gonna guess probably Duke. Hold on, let me. I
don't know them all, but I know two that are ridiculous.
I'm gonna guess Duke. Obviously, is one, which is
But
pretty
I don't know
justifiable. This one. Oh wait, you have a third.
No. I don't know all five.
Can I guess one? Because I think is one in conference. One of the other quad 1 wins in conference.
Yes.
Is it that freaking that Virginia game that they won?
Yeah, I think Virginia.
You got to be kidding me.
Well, there's definitely one after I tell you another one that they count as a quad 1. Clemson is a
That's
quad
the other
1 win.
Thought. Okay, no way.
And I'm pretty sure UNC Greensboro is a quad 1 win.
Okay, keep talking. I'm gonna toss it to you. I need to look at Greensboro here.
Oh, I'm an ACC. Just to refresh you, he's a Syracuse fan. I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I don't hate Syracuse. But and you got to think about 2017 when Syracuse got in over Notre Dame. When they were the 68th team, we were 69th. I don't want to get started. We did go in there into the Carrier Dome and beat them with our 2 best players. I don't want to that's 2017. We're talking about 2020 now. But I hate the Big Ten. Can't stand the Big Ten. It's ridiculous. It's like the Big 12 a couple years ago. So they rank all these teams. You lose a game to a ranked team. You don't drop much because it's not a bad loss. But if you rank them all and you get so many opportunities to win against ranked teams, that means you're getting all these quality wins, which is ridiculous. I've watched college basketball for 14 years now. When is beating Penn State a quality win? When is beating Rutgers a quality win?
Don't get me started on the Big Ten, by the way. Actually, you want to?
I've already started.
No. I want to discuss the Big Ten when you get done with this.
I hate the Big Ten. There's a reason the Big Ten hasn't won since 2000. There's a reason the Big Ten always gets upset. It just pains me to say that they could get 10 teams. It pains me to say that the Minnesota, who's under 500, has a shot at the NCAA tournament. Teams that are like around 500, does not anyone not look at the record anymore. It's all about quality wins and quad 1 and net ranking. What the hell is a net ranking?
We need to circle back to this UNC Greensboro thing. They have UNC Greensboro as a quad 1 when they're third in the Southern Conference standings. They're third in the SoCon, and they're a quad 1 win.
I think it's UNC. Let me go to NC State's schedule.
I understand their record's 23-7 overall, but what? Come on. Ken Pom, please, big Ken Pom.
Ken Pom. And NC State is... Don't anybody look at conference records anymore?
That's what I talked about last week. Like conference likewise. So why
it was UNC Greensboro.
Oh my God, what a joke!
UNC Greensboro is
Now
a quad. I think Clemson, a quad 1 win, is terrible. Clemson
under 500 in the conference.
Oh, it's terrible. And the ACC, what happened? Where's the love? If the ACC is that bad, why do we have 3 teams in the top 10? Where are they getting quad 1 wins if we're all terrible? You know what it is? It's stupid UNC. UNC decided to be bad this year, and it's brought the whole conference down just because they look at it. UNC's bad, so the whole conference is bad. Actually, in my opinion, the conference has been better than usually. I mean, literally any team in the ACC could beat up on each other. They could beat each other on any day. You saw with Wake Forest. They just beat Duke. Literally, they're all improved, but they're not super teams. I'm not saying these teams are going to make NCAA tournament runs, but come on. Like, why is Minnesota getting more love than these teams like Notre Dame and Syracuse? I don't know. It's the Big Ten. I know you're a Big East guy, but the Big East is stupid too. Butler.
Here's the deal.
Butler.
Really? You ready for my rant? You ready for mine?
Yeah, go off on the Big Ten.
The Big Ten. Okay, it's pissing me off how they think 12 teams from the Big Ten are getting it. You want to know why they think that? Because they're stupid. They can't think that they're all beating up on each other. Prime example. Last Saturday, this past Saturday, I won a college parlay because I was the only one of the few smart people to realize, well, Michigan needs the win against a Purdue team that's skating by right now. And Michigan killed them in Purdue. Like, come on. They're just beating up on each other.
Purdue just beat Indiana pretty good
That's
tonight.
what I'm getting at.
Indiana sucks.
But Indiana's ahead of them in conference. They have a better record than them overall. And people thought Purdue was a bubble team. Purdue's right at 500 at 15-14. They're 8-10 in the conference. They think Rutgers is a bubble. The Big Ten pisses me off. They are, I always call the Big 12 the circle of suck, and they still are. In all fairness,
Well, it used to be.
In all fairness, the Big Ten circle of suck is now real.
Oh, it's terrible. Even like Ohio State, who you thought was good at the beginning, they
Maryland's
suck.
barely getting by half these teams, man.
Maryland's probably the best.
I'm not even sure about that. I'm being honest. I don't know who's the best team in the Big Ten.
Wisconsin's not bad. But then again, they have 10 losses.
You want to know the best way to bet the Big Ten? Throw a freaking dart at a board. Just put them all in various spots on the dartboard with logos, right? Just start throwing darts, and that's who you should take for the day.
Like, I'm not saying the ACC. I know the teams have gotten more competitive, but I'm not saying the ACC's down. The ACC is down. It's more competitive, but it's down. Duke's not the same. Virginia lost all their players. Florida State's taken a step up, but, it's just...
Yeah, what...
Notre Dame, Syracuse are average. I mean, these teams are not... They're average.
What about the Big East, though? What were you talking about them?
I was saying the Big East is similar. They're saying a lot of Big East teams are going to make the tournament this year, too.
I think only 3 get in from the
Really?
Big East. This was not a good week for the Big East the past few weeks. I could understand... I even said last week, I think I said last week 4 get in, but I really think 3. I think it can see, and that's the thing. Like Providence sneaking into 4th place in the conference with a 16-12 overall is not helping.
Well,
you brought up Butler, and like I'm big on Butler, but man, they've just shot themselves in the foot the past 2 weeks. Like they just have.
But when you look at any team in college basketball, the reason it's so wide open is because every team has slumps, and they've been inconsistent this year. You don't know who is going to show up in March. It's always hard to pick a perfect bracket. This year, it's literally impossible. Brackets are going to explode this year.
So
I think it's going to be the worst bracket percentage ever. Like, no one knows what's going to happen.
You want to know what? I'm going to go
guess.
the opposite way of you, because this is probably will be the year that we get the absurd Warren Buffett challenge. Somebody hits it.
I don't know, man.
So I alluded to
Tell me who the Final Four teams are right now.
Well, we're going
No
to do something similar to that, because I put it up here and I want to discuss it. Who do you think will be the 4 number 1 seeds? I'll start. I'll give mine first. Okay. I'm gonna go Gonzaga. I mean, I'm gonna do the ones I think that are there are 2 that I think are fairly obvious to me anyway, and 2 I'll call it surprise.
Don't surprise me too much.
I'm gonna go Gonzaga with the number 1 seed. I don't think they get number 1 overall, but they get a number 1 seed. I'm going to go Baylor as the other number 1 seed. Now, this is where the other 2 I think people may have problems with, but I don't think they should. Dayton gets one of the other number 1 seeds. I think
Jerry Palm.
No, what's that guy? Who's the guy for CBS? Ford?
CBS, that's Palm.
No, not. That's not Ken Palm, is it?
It's Jerry Palm, I think.
Oh. Well, whoever's at CBS, I thought that Ford guy was over there. Maybe that's Fox. I don't know. I think he's the only one that I've seen kind of take the dip with Dayton a little bit. But I know, like, Lenardi doesn't have him up there. I think Lenardi has him at, like, 2 or 3. But I have Dayton there. And this one hinges on what happens in conference tournament play. But I think Florida State gets the other number 1 seed.
I think Dayton and Florida State and the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
It all matters what they do in the conference tournament. Gonzaga,
Well, yeah.
I think, is always a lock because their conference so weak. They're going to run away with it.
Well, weak's not the right word with them because they have, like, BYU is good this year. I know
you didn't mention them, but
I don't think they'll make a super deep run, but I think BYU gets to play the second Thursday/Friday.
it's not. I mean, their conference definitely improved. I mean, ever since they added BYU. BYU used to be in the Mountain West with San Diego State.
I thought they were a WAC school.
They were in. I do remember Jimmer and Kawhi Leonard playing against each other. So whatever conference they were in.
Yeah, so that
I do remember that.
actually that might have been Mountain West at that point. Yeah.
But
if you say
Gonzaga's.
Pacific,
But you didn't mention this team. I think Kansas is for real. If I had to pick one team, Kansas is very talented.
I can't get behind it.
I can't get behind Duke. If I had to say who my 4 number 1 seeds, Gonzaga, I will say Kansas. Dayton's got a great chance if they can win their conference tournament. And I will say whoever wins the ACC. Somehow, like ACC's terrible.
Yeah.
They'll give it to Duke, Louisville, or Florida State if one of them wins. No Big Ten's going to get it.
Well, I think Florida State has put up overall the best.
Yes.
I'd say.
I think Leonard Hamilton needs to get some love.
71 years old. He might be the best looking 70-year-old man I've ever seen.
I know.
But
this is not the first time Florida State's come on the scene. I mean, it all comes down to Leonard Hamilton is winning the tournament, which he has never done. He's never gotten to the Final Four. A lot of coaches haven't, but he's one of those coaches, got to get to the Final Four if you want to be an elite coach. Leonard Hamilton's got to do that still. This year, you could see a bracket where, say, Leonard Hamilton does get like a 2 seed. And you got like Gonzaga a 3 seed. You got like Dayton a 3 seed, maybe. Or Gonzaga 1 seed. Maybe Dayton 3 if they do fall off a little bit. 4 seed, maybe, I don't know, Iowa. Maybe 5 seed Iowa.
I don't know. I don't think Dayton
4
falls.
seed Houston.
I don't think Dayton falls off. That OB,
Wichita State.
That OB kid's the real deal.
No, he is. Obi Toppin's a good player. I'm just saying. I was just naming all teams that you don't typically see make runs, but you might get them in your bracket.
Also, BYU is
strong
17th
force,
right now in the country.
Huh?
BYU is 17th in the country right now.
BYU?
So that puts them in about the 3 seed range.
Now, you want to know what's really hurt the bubble teams? Which is good. They're being nice to these mid-major schools. But back in the day, I remember mid-major schools never used to really get at-large bids. Now, more and more mid-major schools are up for at-large bids than mediocre major conferences. And
well, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the scheduling now is not the scheduling itself, but the schedules are tougher now for everybody. Even the mid-majors, you're seeing more mid-majors play, the bigger schools the first few weeks now.
They take strength and schedule really in. And what hurts Notre Dame and Syracuse is their non-conference schedule is terrible most of the time.
Well, I mean, like, the thing that hurts Syracuse, I think, the most this year is you look at that Oklahoma State loss, and people were high on Oklahoma State at the time. And Oklahoma State is now second to last in the conference. They have been at 500 since December in conference. They are 4-11. So
yeah, it's one of those weird sports where you lose to a team,
And-
but then you root for them.
And I don't know what Notre Dame's rest of the schedule looks like, but like Syracuse's does not help them. Like when you think about
No,
it,
Syracuse doesn't have any
because they played. It was a big Pitt win yesterday, but now Pitt falls to third to last in the conference. They play UNC on Saturday. UNC's last in the conference. Then next week they have, I think it's Boston College is one of the games,
Yep.
and that's a game that BC is going to need to win. They're below 500, but they're a team that if they get a couple quality wins, they also throw themselves into the bubble race, even though I don't think anything really happens.
Notre Dame.
And I think the other game that Syracuse has is Virginia Tech, too.
Yep.
So
Notre Dame has one big game, and it's next Wednesday, home against Florida State.
mhm.
They haven't beaten a ranked team in 2 years, but Notre Dame, they've had 6, 7 close single-digit losses. They've only been blown out a few times. Duke, Maryland. That was really it. UNC beat them by 11. That was the first game of the season. But
Shout out to Jim Senecropi, Pat Ford, that was right.
oh, nice. They have to win that game. Florida State, they got to run the tables here in the regular season. Go into the tournament 21-10. They could do that. We got a shot. The top 4 buys, the double buys are pretty much set. Virginia's going to join the 3 big studs.
Notre Dame's the first team out, if you want to call it, in the
Syracuse
ACC with
right
that,
there.
and they're 2.5 games back. That's tough to do in effectively a week and a half.
Yeah, it's Syracuse and Notre Dame are going to be playing in that second round.
Which is good. I mean, no matter what, the rest helps when you're a team like Syracuse or Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame kind of got snipped by the injury bug there for about a week, but I think that was actually more illness than anything else.
Yeah, they had a couple guys sick, but
I mean, you bring it up. I think no matter what, if you get an extra couple of days off, like Houston or Notre Dame will, because they don't have to play that opening round game. I mean, it allows, I think, better possibilities of happening for you.
I think John Mooney needs to get some love. He's not too often do you see a guy in division.
He's been there for 10 years.
Yeah, he had more consecutive double-doubles than Luke Herringody, Notre Dame great. He has the Notre Dame record now for consecutive double-doubles. And he needs to be in the Wooden conversation. Come on. You see a D1 player average double figures like that? He got 22 and 12 yesterday. Kid's a stud. TJ Gibbs, ice cold when he's not facing Trey Jones. He had 0 points against Trey Jones. But, if they can run the tables, go 21-10, that means they can only lose 11 games. It's a lot to ask for because they could easily lose to Wake Forest this weekend. But we'll see. Syracuse is they definitely need to run the tables. They cannot go into the conference tournament with 13 losses. If they can have 12 losses, run the tables, they and Notre Dame need to make a run to the semifinals at least. They have to win that second game. They got to win the first game for the second round there, but they have to win the quarterfinals. Could be about Virginia. It would be Virginia or Florida State, Duke, Louisville, one of them. They have to win that second game. They have to win 2 games to have a shot. But most importantly, Syracuse needs to run the tables. They have to go into the conference tournament. You got to think with 12. Because if they do lose one more time, that's 13 losses. And that's saying they're not going to win the conference. So that's 14 losses. You're right on the cusp with not a great non-conference. And I don't know. They gotta win these next 3 games. We'll see. We will see. I hate the Big Ten. That's what we've learned today. I hate the Big Ten. 7 of them are going to lose in the first round. I see 3 of them they have listed as a 5 seed right now. Even though it's Michigan, Michigan State, Iowa. 5-12, that's the number 1 upset right there. 6-11, 5-12. We'll see, Paul. Bubble is huge. Please don't let Minnesota into the tournament. 13-14 Minnesota.
No. Speaking of tournaments, Nick, locally
Yes.
here we have some big ones going on. Sectional play has officially started. So let's talk some of the bigger games, specifically in the local sense here with Wayne Finger Lakes. Let's start with slight tease. We'll call this a slight tease, even though we're going to discuss it, obviously. Waterloo will be there Friday night. They're facing Hornell. Tough Waterloo team. I'm excited to see them. I've seen them in person once. Got a couple broadcasts here and there with them here on Release One. So I'm excited to see them and call a game in person. This is a team, talked with Jim Secker before this, but, they go for the dagger a little bit when they get going, The same bracket with them, you have a lot, probably not as, I guess, intense as the boys' side of it in B1, but you still have a lot of good teams from the FL East in there. Mid-Lakes is a 6 seed. This is a team that, made run last year. That, they get going, they can still be a problem. Nick, obviously with you being over at the Times now, what have you seen from some of these teams, like sectionally speaking here? Before I really, I guess, outright toss it to you, if Waterloo wins, they play the winner of Batavia, who's the 5 seed. They have to go to number 4 seed Palmac. Palmac, the only team that beat Waterloo this year, and it happened both times. They swept the regular season against them.
Yes, I've learned a lot since working at the Times. This is my fourth week. Fourth week finishing up? Fourth week.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I got to see Mid-Lakes this week. Obviously, Mid-Lakes is their star player, Kara Walker. She's only a junior, so they're a little younger as the defending champs. But they went 0-4 against Palmac and Waterloo. But they are on the opposite side of the bracket. So we'll see what kind of run they make. Waterloo and Palmac, they're destined. This is girls basketball, obviously. But
I hope I said that.
No, I think you did. But Palmac and Waterloo, they're destined for another meeting in the semis next week. This is a Waterloo team. It's a team effort. There's no star on the Waterloo team. They're all as a group. Last time they played Hornell, so that's who they'll play tomorrow.
They played them on December 7th.
I've
done my homework.
Okay. Macy Carr, though, she's the second leading scorer for Waterloo. She only had 4 points in that first game. So
I do know this. Not to get too far off about this, but what I just clicked? Never mind. That's for over there.
I look for Macy Carr to step up.
Macy Carr and Giovanna White Principio, both sophomores, both the leading scorers for Waterloo.
Yes.
So, I'm proud of myself on that.
Yeah, and Michael Bree. Michael Bree? Coach Bree. I just call him Coach, but I talked to him earlier in the season, and he says they take it just day by day. So they're not focused on Palmac right now. They are just focused on Hornell tomorrow. It'd be my first time announcing a game and covering a game at the same time. Luckily, I only cover one team. We only cover Waterloo, but my blood cousins are from Hornell.
Sure, yeah.
So they went to Hornell.
Played at Hornell.
Yes. Brother and a sister.
This is Lindsay's team.
Yeah. It's a little rough for me, but it's gonna be tough for them tomorrow. They average more points than they score, but in their 6
ways,
they average more points than they give up. I should say. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. All right, Trent Dilfer.
But in their 6 games against B1 teams this season, they are 1-5, and it's a 21-point difference.
Look at you.
Yeah, just showing off my Ferrari Lumber Keys early, little tease. But it's Waterloo just needs to go out there and get the job done. I think it's going to be exciting if we can see a Palmac Waterloo rematch. Other side of things, I followed. Just wanted to throw out a couple things. I followed Marcus Whitman girls a lot. Big fan of them. They're nice. Yep. They always say thanks for coming out. But they will play Red Jacket for a rubber match tomorrow.
Yeah, they're
tomorrow?
over
Saturday.
Saturday at 2 p.m. at
Yes.
Red Jacket. 4-5 matchup over in the C1 bracket.
Yeah, it'll be in Red Jacket again. That's where I saw them just a couple weeks ago.
Looks like they get the winner of number 1 Pembroke and number 8 Warsaw.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
If they win. Well, whichever team
wins. Moves on. It will be interesting to see how that game plays out. I'm pretty sure Maddie Ryan's back. She got hurt in the game against Red Jacket. They need her. She's huge. If we look on the boys' side of things,
all right,
girls' side of things, it needs to play out still for bigger games. But one game just to look at is Red Jacket, Marcus Whitman. On the boys' side of things, what do you think of Minders?
Yeah, so definitely a big win yesterday. Hold on, I need to pull up their bracket here so I can get stuff right.
They beat Early College.
Yeah, definitely
high scoring game.
Definitely a big game for them. If you listened to the broadcast here on Fair Lakes One Radio, Jim Sargropy, Kevin Korzaneski on the call there. Jared King had himself a freaking night. 8 threes. I think I could be wrong with the exact number. I want to say it was like 4 in the fourth quarter or something like that. 4 or 5 in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I mean, that was a big game. That's a nice shot in the arm for that team. They go up too. Really, it's going down to Wellsville on Saturday. On Saturday, 4 p.m. tip off there. Another tease. I'll allude to there in a second. But yeah, I mean, you asked, so what? Obviously, I think if they get by Wellsville, I think they have a fairly legitimate shot to get to Blue Cross on next Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them a couple times. They're a little inconsistent. I think they just need they definitely need Cabot and King to show up. Mike Bogart, though, if he can show up as well, he's a nice little weapon, especially in that game. I saw him play against Whitman at home. He started hitting some big threes to keep him in that game. Whitman, though, even they were making some mistakes, but Minders couldn't connect off the turnovers and mistakes, but that's a good Whitman team there. So Minders, they can play with the best. They just have to be more consistent. It is one and done. You don't want to make too many mistakes. But on the B1 side of things,
that's actually where I wanted to go with that, because you covered a B1 game last night,
yes.
But this is another, like I said, with the girls, obviously the same with the boys. This is a very Finger Lakes East heavy bracket.
Yes.
You look quick look here. They got 1, 2, 3, 4. They still got, so of the 8 teams left, we got 4.
Yeah, there's 144 teams left on the boys and girls sides of brackets in sectional still.
Look at you go.
37 of them are from the Wayne Finger Lakes area if you count Victor and Canandaigua. So we're well represented still, with even in the quarterfinals. But Waterloo, they get to play 2-19. Who is it? They just won their second game. They're
playing
Batavia or something.
Greece Olympia. Waterloo is playing number 11 Greece Olympia. Yeah, they're 2-19 now.
2-19. Yeah, they just won a 1-point game. I saw yesterday.
The upset over number 6 seed Livonia.
Yeah, it was a big upset. Waterloo, though, they had the cancellation in their regular season finale, which kind of sucked. That was their senior day.
Yeah. Was that against that Eugenio Maria team?
Yeah, terrible. I don't know what even that school is, but
they're up in Rochester. I don't look up where they were.
You got to think about this Waterloo team. They're still ending their regular season on that sour note against Geneva, where they just absolutely collapsed in the fourth quarter. And
a game that was live on FingerLakes1.com.
Yes, I was there for it. I don't know what
live.
happened. I had to switch up my questions for the coaches right away. They just absolutely collapsed in that game. They just couldn't. They just kept turning over the ball, and Geneva just kept making them pay for everything. And I would love to see a rematch at the Blue Cross with them in Geneva. Obviously, Newark. We'll see how they do against Batavia.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the score. Obviously the score painted a story, but how did they look? Yesterday, really, like first person wise with you.
They looked good. I mean, I saw a couple dunks.
Good.
Josh Green had a dunk, and then Augusto the very next possession. Yeah, it was. I missed the Green dunk. I will say I was looking at my notes, but I saw the Augusto dunk right after. They look good. North Rose, obviously. Quentin Orr is a good player for North Rose. I'll give you that.
What year is he?
He is a junior.
Oh, so we get a year of him though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I listened to a little bit to Kevin Sharp on the radio, and I guess he had a brother who's North Rose legend. I guess Norris. So they're young. We'll see. I mean, they could do well in Wayne County when it comes to, and they jumped class. Like they were C1, I think, last year, and now they're B1.
Yeah, that's a whole.
But that's enough North Rose.
You look at bracket speaking, that is two.
Newark looked good. They didn't shoot the ball all too well. I mean, they just were so bigger than North Rose. They just used the inside game and dominate from the get-go. But like again, Newark, they had lost 5 of 8 closing out the regular season, so just more consistency. It's like the March Madness this year. It's just, how is your team going to play now? That's all that matters, is win now. Play your best basketball. We'll see what happens. I will be at the Geneva game on Saturday when they host. Who are they hosting?
Let's see.
Paul Mac?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen Paul Mac, so I don't know a lot about them. But
they defeated Mid Lakes in the first round game.
But we'll see. Geneva's. That was their last game. Was that Waterloo game? So they're coming off that high note instead of Waterloo with a sour note. But
yeah, so let's give everybody where Finger Lakes 1 will be at the next couple nights for you. So I alluded to it. Nick alluded to it. Tip at 6 o'clock. Everyone else is a 7 p.m. tip-off tomorrow, but we got the early 6 p.m. tip.
Are we on the 2 or the 1?
We're on Finger Lakes Radio Channel 1. So we're on FL1 Radio, as Waterloo will be hosting Hornell, B1 Girls, myself, Nick Felice, obviously us two. Then going on at the same time, an hour later tip-off, over on Finger Lakes Radio 2, Minders is hosting Bath Haverling, a 4-5 matchup, 7 p.m. tip-off there. Jim Sagroppi and Mike Alessio have the call. Those are tip-off times. We'll be going on air for our game 6:40 or 5:45, and they'll be going on air at about 6:45 for that game. So 6:45 we go on air for Minders Bath Haverling game. We'll be going live 5:45 for Waterloo Hornell. Saturday, 4 o'clock tip-off there. That means Finger Lakes 1 Radio, 3:45 tip-off, or going on air. I'm getting them confused.
You got me confused.
Minders,
what is that 4 o'clock?
3-6 matchup. Minders heading to Wellsville. Jim Sagroppi and Kevin Korzaneski will have the call there.
Right.
And then on Finger Lakes Radio 2, Saturday night, 7 p.m. tip-off. We'll go live at 6:45 for that game. Number 3 seed Wayne against number 6 seed Honeyway Falls Lima. 8-2 boys, myself, and Jason Hunt will be on the call for that one. So
Look at you.
looking forward to it, yeah. Back-to-back double-dipping day. So looking forward. Obviously, it's a big time. Make sure you check back here on FingerLakes1.com for all your updates that you need in sectional play. Then obviously we'll be moving on. Once we get out of quarterfinals, the semifinal matchups next week. Look forward to what those hold as well with that. But got obviously the main attraction stuff going on the next couple nights, Nick. So look forward to that. With that in mind, it takes us to the end of the show already. Nick, toss over to you. Who are you shouting out today?
I'm shouting out my other sports writer at Finger Lakes Time, Pete Lambos. Pete, I am going to Waterloo with you, Paul. Pete is going to the Carrier Dome to cover Hobart, Syracuse, lacrosse. Number 19, Hobart.
Oh, they got ranked.
Yep. At number 3, Syracuse?
Yes.
Number 5 or 3?
I know they're 3 now.
Okay, so prediction.
Oh, yes.
Hobart wins 10-9. Eric Holden has 3 goals.
Wow.
Jason Knox, 5 goals.
Wow.
If you do not know them, they are on Hobart.
What a prediction. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, thanks, Nick. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe.
Yep, I'm back.
Not sure what our plan will be. I don't know why it didn't work right like that. There we go. Not sure when we'll be back next week. All depends on Nick's schedule and our schedule broadcasting-wise. But whatever the case is, we'll catch you here next time on the Fresh Shakes Podcast with Russo and Felice.